First of all, thank you to the Chamber, a great partner to all of us. I am constantly amazed at the breadth of this organization because in the old days when I was mayor over there, the Chamber was much more of a defensive kind of operation, dealing with a lot of issues that affected industry, but obvious, kind of in an aggressive manner. That's changed over the years. This organization now is both political parties in it. It's got good equal kind of status at the legislature, and it really reaches out. So I want to thank you for that. That's been a terrific addition, I think, to the public relationships that we have in our community. I have a couple of family members here from my family, my board, and others. Steve Sands, raise your hand. Jeff Edwards is on my board. Andrew Gruber. Andrew was here, I think maybe he had to sneak out. Ryan Evans of the Chamber back there, who's staffing and putting on this meeting today. Carl Galbraith is with us. And I'd like to introduce to you Justin Smart from Penn Powers, who is the executive over our current media campaign, which started on the 1st. And you may have seen some television, and you're going to hear some radio, and you're going to see some other outreach to people, telling them, asking them to consider many, many ways they can make our air better, just by a little bit of personal give. Turn the thermostat down 2 degrees, ride that great track system that we have. All of those things that we can talk about to give people ways to make our air better, and everyone owning it. Industry's got to do its part. That means regulation, that means pressure, that means making sure that that's done. People have to do their part, and so we're all in this one together. I'd also like to introduce Gwen Springmeyer right here, who I'll call on in a minute to help me out at this podium. And Angie Colford right over here, our program coordinator. And Angie is working on a terrific business-inspired effort within UCAIR, sponsored by Chevron. We are going to distribute several thousand gas can exchanges coming up in March. As people get ready for that time of year, they're going to be powering their lawnmowers, their chainsaws, whatever they have, and most of those people are using old-fashioned gas cans. Believe it or not, folks, have devastating effects on the environment, to the point that if you have one near your house, move it. It is leaking fumes every day. If we can replace, with Chevron's help and Chevron's sponsorship, 8,000 cans alone will remove the equivalent of 900 cars a day from the road. Think about it. So we will have parks. We're going to have, I think, an event out at Chevron. We're going to do a number of places where you can come and take that leaky old can that you have and exchange it for a brand new environmental EPA approved can that will be yours, and you can take it home and be very proud of what you've done. And so we're starting to find, aren't we, in this work, those little things that really work. And as we go off, we were talking about fires, we're talking about those things that need to be changed. Tier 3 is a good example of the kind of thing that can have enormous impacts. So let's keep that in mind. Now let me just tell you quickly a little bit about UCAIR. We are not a policy organization. You will not see us at the legislature working on some policy element. We are an operational institution. Our job is to educate, to work with the public directly, to provide grants to many groups. We have over 30 groups that have applied for our grant program. We've awarded grants to over 20 of them in 2 years. We've given away $350,000 last year and $200,000 this year on grants, and we work with about 30 different partners continuously. We have a once-a-month gathering where they come together, they hear what's going on, they talk to each other, and I think through that effort, reduce duplication and make sure that we're having a good division of labor as we go out and try to solve the problem of bad air. So that's what we're all about. We have a grant program that we're very proud of that just mentioned it, the UCAIR grant program. And one of the things that our board tries to do is look at what the actual results will be. What are the so-called metrics, is the buzzword. And as they evaluate that, we try to direct that money in places where it will have the greatest effect. And we've been very, very proud of those institutions that have used that money and have made a tremendous impact on what we do. And so we have that grant program. We invite any group. We've given money to private people. We've given money to not-for-profits. We've given money to governments. Salt Lake City is one of our great cooperating groups on this. We've worked with many, Salt Lake County, on and on. The city of Logan is involved, Provo City, and so forth. So these are all things that we're working on. Now, I'd like to ask Gwen to come up, because Gwen is working in the Air Assist program. This is a program sponsored by the Department of Workforce Services. And Gwen knows every paint shop in Utah, personally.
Yes.
Oh, not all of them?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought they were all yours. And she's done this in recent history with a broken back. She's driven all over the state, meeting with every paint shop in the state with a big thing on it.
Well, I don't wear my brace anymore.
Oh, okay, all right. But she is incredible, and I'd like her to tell you about going out and working with small business in a way that's very, very positive to give them incentives and help on how to clean up our air. Gwen, come on up.
Thank you, Ted. And I really appreciate this whole conference today, and I really enjoyed hearing the comments from Blaine Rawson talking about the impacts on our businesses, big businesses, major businesses that are trying to function here in Utah, or thinking of coming here. So, but I want to give credit right now to John Pierpont with Workforce Services. When he became aware of the rules that were going to come into play for small businesses, he was worried. His job is to make sure that our unemployment rate remains low. So he came up with the funding for this Clean Air Assist program. I really want to give credit to him. And I can give grants of $15,000 to a small business that is faced with the rules and has to do something to modify their business process in order to comply. And Ted mentioned auto body shops. That's who I do most of my work with. And an auto body shop is faced with a new rule where they had to change out the paints they were using. The high solvent paints, they had to change to lower VOC or waterborne paint. It takes about $30,000 for a business to make that change. And if you've got 6 employees or 12 employees and you're faced with this, you might consider laying someone off so that you can make that change. But when I step in and help them with a grant of $15,000, half of the cost of the change out, they don't have to lay someone off. And so I'm out there, like Ted said, I'm out to a lot of auto body shops. We're working with cabinet industry, and I think Brian's trying to tell me that my time is up. I would love to talk to anyone who has any questions about this program or suggestions on other businesses I can help. Thank you for giving me time, Ted.